We've been instructed by the animators that they would prefer not to have to reach more than 2.5 feet to get to a puppet. So a number of these pieces are under 2 feet, specifically so that an animator can reach. And where there isn't a 2-foot reach, we sometimes build in trap doors so that they can physically open up a section of the stage, come up, do the animation, close the trap door, and disappear. Then the director can take a director's viewfinder and practice what he wants to see on film. And if the director likes it, then we can actually build this and send it through the paint shop, the model shop, who will do all the detailing, and then it'll end up out on one of our stages.
Although the sets were built in miniature, they were lit as if they were full-size movie sets, but using smaller lighting instruments. Many of the scenes required as many as 20 to 30 different lights to create the dramatic effects.
What we're trying to avoid is looking like we're doing tricks. Coupled with that, trying to keep some style to it. The biggest challenge on the show, I'd say it's keeping it consistent. There's 8 camera crews.
One of the things that we are pushing the barrier with is a lot of motion control camera moves. So that means big sweeping camera moves going through the scene as the characters act out. Particularly during songs, it's a lot of fun as an animator to be able to work on stuff like that because it makes your shots look more like a live action film, more fun.
I'll talk to the director and he'll tell me what the action is and he'll give me an idea where he wants the camera. And then what I'll do is I'll take my motion control camera, which has all these different axes. It has track that'll take it in and out. It has swing, which will swing it around on this axis. It has a boom arm that takes it up and down. And then right here on the head, it also has a pan and a tilt and its own roll. And sometimes even a focus if I need to do that. So all those axes are programmed for the shot. Now here it is. We've given it 2 positions. Now the computer's going to compose the move for me. I've given it its start position, I've given it its end position. It'll use those 3 axes, the track, the boom, and the pan, and they're all going to play back in a way that will be hopefully pleasing to the director. And here it goes. As you see now, I'm getting my frame count here. Here's the whole move from frame 1 to 100. Basically, it's a lot of communication between me and the animator. When we tweak it, we have about 3 days to do this, to get the shot ready to go before the animator has to take over the shot.
Surprised, aren't you? I knew you would be. The sculpture department was about 3 or 4 folks doing all the characters.
We get drawings of the characters that the art department puts together, and then we sculpt them in oil-based clay. The oil-based clay is just the easiest because it's just very versatile and it can be smoothed out with alcohol, and it has to be a soft medium, something pliable that when it's molded, we can use a hard mold plaster and it won't rip up the mold, and we can put the soft foam rubber into the same mold and it'll pull out.
Each puppet has an armature inside it, which is basically a ball and socket, which enables you to move a puppet like these.
We usually get a sculpture or a drawing of front view and side view, and then we'll determine where the joints are supposed to be. Usually the joints are one of 2 different types. There's ball joints and then there's hinges. Ball joints are like in his neck here. You can move it, almost like a universal joint, any amount of range. And those are good for general purpose joints. And hinges are really good for like down here in hips and in his main body because they can be tightened off really strong.
All the intricate parts and pieces of the armatures were hand machined to fit perfectly for each puppet, ensuring that each tiny movement would look smooth and fluid when posed 24 different times for each second of film.
After a puppet a character is sculpted, then it goes to the molding department and it goes to the entire molding process. After they make a mold, they then lay a steel armature in the mold. The mold gets injected with a foam latex material that covers the armature. It's then baked out in an oven, taken out of the mold, and brought up to fabrication From that point on, that puppet belongs to myself and my crew, the puppet fabrication department. We put the different paint jobs or clothing, hair, fur, everything else that gives the puppet its full character, and then it goes out for animation.
This movie will have approximately 60 individual characters. We will make as many as 3 to 4 duplicates of many of those characters. So the total number of puppets of this film is closer to 200. We have as many as 20 stages going at once, as many as 15 animators working at once. One animator is working with Jack climbing a tower, and another is working with Jack walking through the woods, and a third's working with Jack singing out in the streets.
The Nightmare Before Christmas brings to the screen dazzling stop-motion imagery, unprecedented in its scope and technical achievement.
I think just the characters and the feel and the look of them, it pretty much, I think, had to be animation.
Here, let me show you.
Stop-motion animation is a process whereby we take a puppet like this and we move them a little bit. Take your hand away, take a picture. We move them a little bit more. Take the hand away, take a picture. We repeat that. Picture, picture. We develop the film and we play it back, and without my hand being involved at all, his arm's going to swing around like this. It's a way to bring inanimate objects, objects that aren't alive, to life.
To complete just 1 minute of finished film takes an entire week of shooting.
It requires, in my opinion, quite an artist and a technician, and that's a hard combination to find.
A very important part of doing really good stop motion is the same as any other animation, and that's being able to act things out for yourself and really feel it, and then translate that into what the character does.
By getting my own imagination going and seeing how it's going to play in my mind, I act it out, and I play with the puppet a little to see if my actions can be duplicated by the puppet, and if they can, then I talk to Henry, the director, and see if he likes it.
They'll memorize it with their body, act it out several different ways. I'll act it out for them. We go back and forth and arrive on something. Down, picks it up, looks, there's something in there, huh? Reaches inside, gets bit, and then fixes it on and leans in just as they finish.
I think a lot of animators, stop-motion animators and 2D animators also, are just frustrated actors and possibly shy actors like myself who, wouldn't want to get in front of the camera. And so it's kind of the nice sense to be able to let people see you, but not really see you. I get to hide behind puppets.
We know the basic blocking. We know the length of the scene within a few frames. So there's a very tight, confined space the animator has to plug in. At that point, the animator becomes the character.
Eureka!
Jack, he's designed as a long-limbed, elegant, spider-like man, and naturally sort of wants to move that way.
We'll go insofar as actually analyzing that stuff frame by frame with a video recorder just to see how things move.
We get the move nailed and lighting, and we shoot tests, and we put them on loops and see them over and over and comment on virtually everything.
We do a series of tests called pop-throughs and run-throughs, and I talk with the director. He'll tell me what he likes, the changes he wants, and then we'll go for the final take.
We'll just be testing 3 or 4 times to make sure we like the action. And when the animator and the director feel comfortable with the acting that's going on, the overlapping of action between characters, then it's like, okay, now go for the hero shot. But in 6 days, something might happen, like a light might get jarred or the camera might slip. And when you're playing it back at speed, you're going to notice that. And that sometimes is a shot killer.
It's not like a cell animated film where if you have a little problem with a frame, you can go back and erase that line, redraw it, and then rephotograph it. If you have a problem with a frame, you have to rephotograph the entire thing. So you've always got that sort of pressure on top of your head that, you know, while you're in the middle of a 400 frame shot that's taken 10 days to shoot, you know, it's the 9th day and something goes wrong.
Ah! There goes Christmas.